and bigger, until a huge wave came and shook the boat. Oh! No. Rika! Oh no, not that. I got to find him. Are you okay?
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, we can't size. Can you swim? Well, then do it yourself. Swim. No, just swim. Okay, that's good. Well done. Why didn't you do that before? Doesn't matter. Okay. Well, should we just swim then?
Yeah.
Can you see our boat, my new boat?
No.
Oh, maybe it went down. I'll just take a look. It went down. I saw it. Oh, my new boat. Blast. Oh, sorry. Well, then we have to swim. Okay? Brika, we stay close together. Okay? And the first one who sees land, say so. Okay. You say anything?
Yeah.
Oh, the current is strong, huh?
Oh, there.
But the current is strong, so the current is very strong, huh? Rika! Come, use your strength, come on! But the current was too strong. Yeah, it was too strong. And so Beowulf, he lost Brika out of sight. But Beowulf, he wanted to manage. So he kept on swimming. He swam alone for an hour. He swam for 2. He swam until the evening. He swam until he was surrounded by the dark night. He swam until the middle of the night. Then he heard a sound. Something saying. From deep below. Okay, could you stand there? Wait! Beowulf heard the sound from deep below. Suddenly, he could see a bump on the surface. The bump broke and a sea monster came up! Oh no! But Beowulf, he was fast. He grabbed his dagger and threw it into the monster's eye. Kaboom! Did I get it?
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Really? Are you okay? Also with your eyes?
Cute.
That's great. But Beowulf, he kept on swimming. I hope there will be no more sea monsters. I just had one dagger, you know. But Beowulf kept on swimming. And it wasn't before very early next morning he saw land, and with his last strength he swam towards the beach, and with his last power he crawled up and fell over on the cold sand. But luckily, one of King Higelac's beach guards came walking down the beach that morning. And he found Beowulf. And he lifted him up and carried him to the king's house, where he was put to bed. And Beowulf's father, he stood next to the bed, waiting for Beowulf to wake up. But Beowulf, he slept for 24 hours in a row. That's how exhausted he was. But the first thing he said when he woke up was, "Breaker! Where's Breaker?" But his father said, "We have found Breaker. He was just laying a little further down the beach, but he's still asleep. Sit down and tell me, what happened tonight?" Then Beowulf told his father everything. And when his father had heard that, he went straight to King Hygelac and told it to him. And when the king heard that story, he went straight to Beowulf and said, "You have been swimming at the open sea for a whole night? I have never heard anything like that before, not even about a grown-up man. And you have killed a sea monster, I hear. Do you know what you are, Beowulf? You are the best swimmer in all Sweden." The rumors were spread, and soon everybody knew that Beowulf was the best swimmer in all Sweden. And Beowulf, he grew up. He became a little bigger and a little stronger. And he learned how to ride a horse, you know. And he learned how to handle a sword, yeah. He got a new sword after this. A heavy one, yeah. Yep. Something like that. If you connect your voice with your action, it becomes even more strong. Could you see that? That's not so bad, huh? Well, one day a stranger visited the king, and he told about this and that from all around the world. But he also told about King Hrothgar, who had been sitting in misery in Denmark for 12 years. And when Beowulf heard about him, he stood up and said, "May I go? I think I can help King Hrothgar." And King Hygelac, he said, "Why not? I think time might be right for you to have a look around. But I won't let you go alone. No, you can choose 14 of my men to join you. And I'll advise you to take some of the big strong ones. Yeah, they know how to hit properly. But take also some of the smaller ones. They know how to use their brains, you see. They are clever. And then take a few women. They can be quite cunning if things get nasty. And then take one of my ships down at the beach. And may the gods be with you, Beowulf." Beowulf did as the king ordered. He chose 14 of the king's men. So I need some big, strong ones. Will you come? And you? Some big, strong ones. I think you're hiding a bit, but you are big. Are you strong too?
No,
Yes, whoa.
Я вместо женщины, если женщина.
Он I can be as a woman.
What?
As a woman.
As a woman? Yeah. Okay. Sometimes you have to take a chance.
Бывает, надо попробовать.
Thank you. Yeah, well, we get back to that later. Anybody? You could come. I think you'll be great. And you? Whoa, this is gonna be great. Yeah, and then a few women. Oh, what about? No. Would you be in the men's group or the women's? Good, okay. So you're alone now. So, anybody? Do you want to practice or what? Okay. Then you can stand there. Okay? And, great. And then they all went to the beach. No, we need a few more women. We just got one. I think we need a few more to be with him. Any volunteers? Volunteers, thank you.
I'm married.
That's a very good reason to take a little trip, huh?
Отличная идея, надо куда-нибудь поехать.
No? Okay. That's fair enough. Anybody not married?
Jesper?
Oh, you. Thank you. So you can hold his hand.
Okay, I'll try. Вместе будем дышать.
Find a nice dress for him, okay? Thank you. Then they all went to the beach, dressed for battle. They went on board the ship. And then they began to row the boat. Normally I have tools here. He's rowing. Yeah. Who will help me? No, but then you could help me. So come. You just have to stay here. Like that. Yeah. Here's the oars. Yeah. And then, if you do like this, so okay. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Let's go! Let's go. A big, yeah, that's good. Yeah. But it was a long journey at that time. It took 24 hours before they saw, hey, land ahead! And then they went down the fjord to the place where the forest grew out to a steep hillside straight down to a flat beach. Hey, that's where we're going. Yeah. So he took the last straw. Last one. Yeah, good. Hey, break, stop! Well, that's Denmark, huh? Okay, so jump out of the boat. Jump. Yeah, good. And then you help me. Here. And I go here. And 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. But what they didn't see was one of King Higelac's beach guards. He was sitting on his horse on top of the hillside. And when he saw a strange ship being pulled ashore and battlemen departing, he spurred his horse and came riding straight towards the crowd. Straight towards the crowd. Are you the beach guard?
Yeah.
That's the beach guard.
Okay, there you are. Okay, you should come from there, not sit there. Come on. Come. and said,
Ходишь? Бурила. С другой стороны.
The other side.
you.
А что я охраняю?
Берег. Границы.
What am I guarding?
Пограничник.
What?
He's a bodyguard. Bodyguard.
You want to be my bodyguard? I don't understand.
He's guarding the beach.
I know, and?
But she didn't know. Listen.
Евросоюз.
Is it tasty?
Oh, very good.
Close to who I am.
Знаешь, кто я? Нет.
Do you know the way to King Hrothgar?
Знаешь, как добраться к королю Радгару?
Знаю, но я тебе не скажу.
I know, but I won't tell you.
Why?
Почему?
Потому что ты съел все мои яблоки.
You ate my apple. Пошли.
Let's go. Садись. Садись, садись.
So Beowulf's friends followed the tracks up the hillside. But the beach guard had warned King Hrothgar, who now welcomed Beowulf in the hall. Beowulf bowed and said, I bring regards from King Hygelac. Hygelac? King Hrothgar said, good old Hygelac. If you know him, you are most welcome in my house, but won't you sit down and have something to eat after your long journey? Yes, thank you, Beowulf said. And then Beowulf opened his belt and took his sword off and placed the sword in a corner. Because you don't wear your sword when you eat with a king. Then Beowulf and his friends sat down in one side of the hall. On the other side, the king's men were sitting. And soon food was brought in. Bread, pork, and hot beer. Have you tried hot beer? Yeah? No? It's very good. It's good. Okay, but there was a man among the king's men who didn't like to see Beowulf. His name was Unfaith. Could you help me? Because you're on that side. Could you be Unfaith? Because Unfaith, he wanted to be the toughest of the king's men. Yeah, so when he saw Beowulf, he stood up and said,
Oh, I don't like you, Beowulf.
okay, and cheers, friends.
Cheers. They don't like you too.
Okay, I don't know why you don't like me, and I don't know who you are.
Oh, well, you.
What is your name?
Unfaith.
Unfaith.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I believe. Unfaith. I'm here to help your king. Don't you know?
No, I don't trust you.
No, you don't trust me. Okay, but if your own courage had been as big as your mouth is, there had been no reason for me and my friends to come to help your king. Then you could have helped him yourself. Couldn't you?
Yeah.
Then sit down. Or get so angry that you get so angry that you try to attack me. Ah, King Hrothgar said, stop it, Unfaith, stop it. Oh. It's one of your friends. Okay, you will be punished even more if you don't sit down and be quiet. Sit down, Unfaith, King Hrothgar said. Sit down. Okay, these men are not ordinary men. They are men of big courage. You could learn something here.
So
Be quiet! And thank you. Well, King Hrothgar, I hear that you would like to help us. It would be a great help if you would sleep in here tonight. You will? That's interesting. I've been waiting for this. But it's getting late. We will go, and then I hope to see you tomorrow. At breakfast, of course. Yeah, really. So, good night. Sleep well, everybody. Get out. Out. So Alfred left, but you can stay. And the king left and said, goodbye. So now Beowulf was left alone with his friends in the hall. His friends lay down on the benches in both sides of the hall. But Beowulf himself, he took the seat right next to the door because he wanted to see what was going to happen. But soon all Beowulf's friends fell asleep because they had a little too much beer with the food. But Beowulf, he only had one cup because he wanted to stay awake and see what was going to happen. And he had been thinking about what he would do if the trolls showed up. And he realized that he only had one possibility, and that was to meet it face to face and with his bare hands. So he lay down on the bench and waited to see what was going to happen. But outside, it became dark and cold. And when it was darkest and coldest, there came a sound from the thicket. Something saying, human flesh. I haven't had any for a long time. Don't wake them up. This time I'll teach them an unforgettable lesson. It smells good from here. Yeah. So Grendel went, took hold of the first man on the bench. Poof. But as soon as he touched Beowulf, he could feel that this was more powerful than anything he ever